on Times Now's Newshour Debate number 2. 2 points of view. I'd like to place on record there is no Congress representative on this debate tonight. For a second consecutive night, the Congress party has not sent a representative on this important issue of whether there should be a disclosure on Bluestar. We have asked them and they have not sent it, not for want of trying. C Singh, former Secretary Ministry of External Affairs, and with him Brigadier Israr Rahim Khan for a second time on the Newshour tonight on this controversial subject are on one side. I presume on the other side we have Maheshinder Singh Grewal, who is an advisor to the Chief Minister of Punjab, and we also have Nirmala Sitharaman, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And in the middle on this, and my first question goes to Hartosh Singh Bal, senior journalist. Hartosh, should there be disclosure? Should there be a reinvestigation? Should there be an opening up? Will that serve a purpose or will that only add to the fire?
Arnab, absolutely there should be disclosure. The new evidence, what has come out in the UK, sheds a completely new light in what has happened in the run-up to Operation Bluestar. Clearly, the Indian government from February onwards was contemplating moving into the complex. Given this background, the lack of evidence, the lack of planning, the last-minute botch-ups of the army, the badly planned operation, all this is inexplicable. A man like R.N. Kao is sitting there giving advice, picking up intelligence, and yet this is what the army does. How do we put all this together? There has to be some explanation of how as a nation we end up commit such a blunder.
Well, Hartosh, let's get C from the other side at first, because C Singh's point of view is that it's not necessary now. I presume I got you right there right now. He also says he's worried that the issue will become political and get politicized, and that those who are making it political don't understand the nuances of how there is cooperation between different governments. C, your counter on why you feel there should not be a disclosure.
No, let me say, Arnab, I have nothing against an inquiry, a full disclosure. In fact, the government can do it. But my point is they have nothing to fear.
Who is nothing to fear?
The government. What is wrong in, let me give you an example. 1979, the Grand Mosque at Makkah was taken over by 500 militants, November of 1979. No non-Muslim is allowed inside Makkah. They got a special dispensation for the French paratroopers to come in because the Saudis did not have the capability. They deny it. They've denied it after that. But there is anecdotal evidence that the French were there. They went in. Now you take
my point is,
let me just finish. There were weapons available to people who were roaming around the Parikrama.
Yes.
That there was competitive whipping of the sentiments of the Sikhs by the two sons. Sant Longowal was here, Sant Bhindranwale was there. This was going on from December. After December, once they allowed Sant Bhindranwale to move to the Akal Takht, there were only bad options or worse options. There were just no good options available because there was no way he was going to get out, and it was just going down the slope. I joined Rashtrapati Bhavan in October. Till November, December, there was the Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit. The central government was completely preoccupied with that.
The point is this. Yeah. By the way, we have some calls here from the Congress party which have been received from the news desk, and they are saying that you're putting out there that for a second consecutive night the Congress representatives are not on the Newshour, and they say that their point of view is that today there wasn't someone available for this subject, and that's why they don't have someone. It does not mean that they are avoiding a subject.
May I just conclude?
Because we are fair and balanced, I'm putting that point of view tonight. Yeah. However, C Singh, my point is
I'm saying there are mistakes made. There are multiple mistakes
made. Government.
No, let me just finish.
No, as an Indian citizen.
Just let me finish.
Okay, fine.
There are multiple mistakes made and we need to learn from them.
No.
There was a mistake in terms of delaying action till December. There were mistakes made on the other side where they allowed the weaponization of a place which is a place of religion. There are multiple mistakes. There was maltreatment of Sikhs in Haryana by Bhajan Lal, maltreatment of Sikhs during Asian Games.
That's not the
mistakes galore. And therefore, let's not single things out and just whip up sentiments.
No, that's not the issue tonight. You see, the issue tonight is very different. The issue tonight is that my government is hiding something from me. I am an Indian citizen and I have a foreign government document which says about this secret visit of a military advisor, and I quote it. It says, it was therefore vital that there should be no leak about the visit. If there were a leak of the military advisor of Britain's visit to India, it would be extremely embarrassing for both sides And if the leak sprang from us, the Indians would never forgive us. 30 years on, the UK has told us what they were doing. My government is hiding things from me about the involvement of a foreign power in an internal security issue. Nirmala Sitharaman wants to contradict you. Nirmala Sitharaman to C Singh.
And I can understand C Singh's point because it's a matter of sensitivity and everything else. But it is an internal matter, internal law and order issue, or you call anything else. And in that, if you're seeking, or if you sought, or if you didn't seek, let us hear it from our government. The declassification happened in the UK, as a result of which we first of all get to know something, and then the UK government does a very quick investigation and the statement is made in the House of Commons there, and now we are still waiting for our government to tell us whether they indeed sought or not.
Absolutely.
Why don't it say, the lessons that you're talking about, the learning that you're talking about, the learning that you're talking about is learned only after the facts come out.
Exactly. Brigadier Israr Khan wants to come in. I want to put a fact here, Brigadier Israr Khan, that the UK Cabinet Secretary's findings say that the Indian request for a contingency plan for possible armed action inside the Golden Temple was quote-unquote urgent, and the UK decided to honor it because it wanted to maintain close relationships with India. I want my government, as an Indian citizen, to tell me, what was this urgency? Why were you compelled to seek foreign intervention in that matter? For an internal matter. It's a question of my sovereignty. Yes. Brigadier Israr Khan, respond to Nirmala Sitharaman.
You see, at the outset, I would like to repeat what I said yesterday.
Which is?
Indian Army has no objection to any files being opened in India. To reveal the truth as to what advice was sought and what was given and how it was interacted with the Indian Army. So I will leave that part. Now coming to first comment made by Hartosh, your fellow journalist, that it was a badly planned ops, and in his tone and tenor, I found that Hartosh, he mentioned that it was a badly planned army operation, the Bluestar.
Yes.
And he also, in his tone and tenor, revealed that he is not quite happy with the conduct of the army. Let me first say that it couldn't have been planned better, Hartosh. Firstly, given the circumstances, I wonder if you know exactly what were the conditions. Only that you have read it in books and papers and all the things which have come out.
That's not really the issue here.
No, the issue is that was it a badly planned operation?
General, with due respects for the army, and it is not a question of the operations, whether it was tactically well planned or not. It is a question of a political decision which was taken by the government then. And today, as Indian citizens, with greater transparency and everything else, and with due respects for the army.
Madam, it is in the interest of the army that the truth comes out so that the army also feels better.
No, that's exactly, sir. With due respects to the army and the civilian, the relationship that the army and the civilian government holds in India, I would want the Indian political decision makers to come out clean. It is not casting aspersions on the army. It's more a political decision which the government of India has to explain. That is about it.
He also said that we sought. The Indian Army sought
not the Indian Army.
It is untrue.
No, I'm on a very serious point. First of all, Hartosh, just coming to you, I want to clarify one thing. I said yesterday, I do not question the valor, the commitment, the sacrifice shown by you in fighting terrorists. And let me be clear that they were terrorists. I underline that. Okay. My second point here is, however, I want to know whether my army was kept in the loop about the advice from the British government.
No, it did not.
No, so
it was not kept in the loop at all.
Isn't that a crime?
Yes, let it be investigated why the government held that.
Political compulsion?
Yes.
Maheshinder Singh, Hartosh wants to first counter. Hartosh wanted to counter. Maheshinder Singh ji, I'm coming to you. I know that you are going to raise the issue politically. But Hartosh first wants to respond to Brigadier Israr Khan.
Arnab, I am not in disagreement with Brigadier Israr. What I am saying is that there was considerable planning by the Indian administration. None of it seems to have been passed on to the army, which is informed at the last moment. I'll take you to Appendix E of the reply filed yesterday in British Parliament, and the exact statement of a senior intelligence official on June 13th is quoted there. It says, although some recommendations were used, the main concept changed once the Indian Army took over. A frontal assault was attempted using some of the Indian Special Forces. the person concerned, the Indian intelligence officer, emphasized that the large number of deaths was not the result of the poor implementation of the plans, nor of any deficiency in the plans, but was due to the army's decision to do it their own way. So the intelligence wing of the Indian government is clearly blaming the army for the number of deaths that took place while talking to the UK counterparts. This is documented by the UK government.
I also want to raise another point here, and I have now on a very serious point. Maheshinder Singh, I am coming to you. My question is, and if you can just pay attention to this. My question is, the third question is, why is my Prime Minister explaining to their Prime Minister what she did? Now you look at Indira Gandhi did not officially admit to UK's assistance in her letter. She wrote a letter to Margaret Thatcher. It was on 14th of June 1984, if I am not mistaken, Hartosh. She explains why paramilitary troops were not used, right? And the army was sent in instead. Now recall here that the military advisor had, as per the Cabinet Secretary's findings made public now, specifically spoken about coordination of paramilitary with Indian Special Group Forces. My question is, Indira Gandhi, in a response to Thatcher, was indirectly explaining, almost in a submissive tone, why British advice was not adopted and the army was sent in instead. What's going on? Why is the Indian Prime Minister explaining in a beseeching tone? Please tell me, doesn't it worry you, C Singh? Why is Indira Gandhi explaining to the UK why they did not go with the advice they had given? Look, I mean, it's a question again of our sovereignty.
Look, I'm not privy to what went on between the two Prime Ministers.
I can quote, no, I have the letter.
No, but
I have the letter.
Let me contextualize it. I think what happened after the event was, there was an uproar in all countries wherever the Sikhs were resident, whether it was US, England, Canada, there was an uproar. There were demonstrations. Indian government was trying to explain their point of view, why they did what they did. And let me share with you another thing. After Mrs. Gandhi went there...
Why was the Indian government explaining to the British government?
Because...
Because what?
It is a public relations problem
public relations? You understand? Public relations... Nirmala Sitharaman?
It is not anything to do with public relations at all. You're explaining about your decisions, your political and strategic decisions, which is not necessary.
It was already in the public domain. Everything is in the public domain.
No, I'm sorry. Public domain. Then why will a Prime Minister write?
Why will a public domain?
I don't know why she wrote. I'm simply telling you that at that point... I said that at the beginning.
No, it doesn't explain the question.
In all countries, there were demonstrations taking place before Indian missions.
Very well, but then why should the Prime Minister in private explain it to the foreign countries?
One second. Did the Prime Minister of India write to the Chinese Premier? One second. Did Indira...
Let's not trivialize it.
No, I'm not trivializing it.
There are Sikhs in China, yeah. There's a huge number of Sikhs.
So did the Prime Minister of India...
Where does the
did the Prime Minister of India write to the Prime Minister of Canada?
I don't know. All I'm simply telling you is that there was a public relations serious problem which our missions had in those countries where there are large Sikh populations have continued to have that problem even today. Even today, the problem is there.
And in addition to public relations exercises will have a certain kind of explaining. Public relations exercises have a different kind of explanations to offer. They will not go into the details.
Maheshinder Singh Grewal from Ludhiana, who has the completely contrary perspective. Maheshinder Singh Grewal, you're hearing the arguments of C Singh, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, and Brigadier retired Israr Rahim Khan, who was commanding officer of the 10 Guards Battalion that went into did Operation Bluestar. Your response, are you convinced with their explanation that what was going on was probably normal, which is what C Singh says?
Arnab, I totally disagree with it, because I think the perception of the people who served in the government for long is always for government. But the reality remains, nation asked this explanation from the Congress leadership why they kept their own country in dark for that long, that they took the foreign assistance to attack the religious place of a minority and to that kill few persons who were claimed by them are terrorists, that they have to ask for British assistance. And it's more painful, Mr. Arnab. This issue has three angles. One, why the Prime Minister of this country at that time has not made it public that she is talking to the foreign powers to launch attack against minorities. Second, if it was done, then it was immediately for the government of this country to explain the nation that in these circumstances they sought the assistance. Third is that till
Mr.
date,
Grewal, Mr. Grewal, sorry for the intervention.
Till date.
Just listen to me.
Mr. C Singh, please wait for 1 minute.
No.
Till date, the government and the government
Let
people...
me include for a second. Give me 2 minutes.
No,
just give me a little time.
I don't want to hear it. It's a government language. I don't want to hear it. I don't want this thing to hear. I want to ask... Mr. C Singh...
I'm a retired government servant, all right, but I am not a stooge of the government. Now, don't say that.
I know the language is like that. Just tell me one thing. Now the British government...
Before you go further...
Just listen to me for a minute. Mr. C Singh, I have heard you with patience.
So you was already spoken enough.
Just listen me for 1 minute. When the government of Britain has exposed the Indian government, is it not incumbent for the government of India to tell the nation what they have done, whether they have taken only advice from Britain or any other country? Second, they have also, I tell you, Mr. Arnab, Brigadier Saab was also in the last debate. And I am pained to know today that Brigadier Saab that day vehemently told the audience and your viewers that the operation was arranged and executed within few days after the failure of...
I still say that. I still say that.
Now let him counter you directly. Let him counter you directly now. Mr. Grewal, I think he got the point. He wants to respond to you.
I stand by what I said earlier, and I categorically state today. Now just listen to me, please. Please listen to me.
Just listen. Today the Foreign Minister of Britain has made it clear that British advisor came to India in month of February and they gave specific advice, but that advice was not carried out. Tell me if the
you don't know the facts.
February.
No, 1 second. You don't know the facts. Now let me tell you.
In India.
Just now.
1 second, Mr. Grewal. Mr. Grewal, 1 minute, please.
Have a heart.
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute, Mr. Grewal. 1 minute.
Just have
Mr.
a
Grewal,
pause.
a minute, please. A minute, please. Yeah. Brigadier.
I categorically state today, I stand by my statement made earlier on this show. Indian Army neither sought nor got any information, intelligence or any plan from the British Army. Let that be clear to you for all times to come. Now, secondly,
Mr. Brigadier, it's total lie. After the statement of the Foreign Minister of Britain,
if you call a brigadier a liar, I have no words to say. Tell me where were you?
Brigadier
tell me where were you in 84 to state all that with such authenticity? Where were you in 84?
We suffered the
Where were you in 84 at the time of Bluestar in June 84?
What you told the viewer was totally incorrect, wrong, and
I want to know.
No,
I want to know the authenticity of your statement, and I want to know where you were during the Operation Bluestar. Let us start from there.
We were confined to
where
houses.
Were you?
I was confined to my house for 9 days as there was a complete curfew in the country. My brigadier, remember your words.
So if you were confined to your house...
we were watching everything. Brigadier Saab,
listen, I was there
Brigadier
from 5th of June night till 24th of June 1984. I was the only officer who saw everything with one's own eyes. I heard everything. I saw everybody. I know the exact state of fortifications and the fortress, the sanctity of the temple was completely lost, and you were a silent spectator sitting in your house.
Mr.
Okay, one point before I go to the break.
I'm very worried that while the Brigadier is very clear about Army not receiving any help from the British
authorities,
authorities,
I'm saying is not
stated
correct,
very clearly.
then you have right to
And on
rebut
the
it.
other hand, for whatever reason, especially on a critical debate like this, the ruling party then and the party which is in power today absents itself from the debate.
They say we did not have someone tonight.
Very well, we'll take them on their answer, but the priority should be given for a very critical debate like this.
I think so. I agree with you.
And we cannot allow anything to point a finger at the army and lay suspicion at their doorstep. It is important for the ruling party of then and ruling party now to come out clean with all the disclosure, especially because the other end is not any small journalist or unknown entity which is giving the information. It is government of UK which is speaking, the Prime Minister is speaking. And unless we do that, we are in a position where we might put the army at a kind of a stage where we are suspicious.
Ms. Sitharaman, while I agree with you on that, let us not forget that a memorial honouring those who were killed in Operation Bluestar, this includes Bhindranwale, right, was unveiled in April 2013. I will ask Mr. Grewal when I come out on the other side tonight, I want Mr. Grewal to tell me, just as he wants the Indian government to come clean on Operation Bluestar, I want Mr. Grewal to come clean on Bhindranwale's terrorism. Was Bhindranwale a terrorist? Or does he endorse him as a martyr? I want a straight answer from Mr. Grewal when I come out on the other side of the break. Well, welcome back. The nation wants disclosure. The Congress party could not send a representative, it says tonight. We, however, believe that it is important for the Congress party not to be mum on the issue of a full disclosure of a foreign government's involvement in India's security matter. And for the umpteenth time on the Newshour on a second consecutive night, I am saying here, with respect to the Brigadier and all the armed forces, this discussion has nothing to do with the sincerity, the valor that the armed forces at that point of light, led among others by Brigadier Israr Rahim Khan, showed. My question, however, is I don't think the Indian government can remain silent because the documents include a chronology of Indian-UK contact. It mentions several things, and among others it mentions, I'd like to point this out, that between Hartosh, I come back to you, between February 8th and February 17th, 1984, there is, and I quote, a recce of Harmandir Sahab, as you have quoted, by a UK military advisor, and quote, a short report is submitted to the Indian authorities with high-level recommendations and advice, which means there was comprehensive advice given to the Indira Gandhi government by the Margaret Thatcher government with regards to an armed operation at the Golden Temple. The Brigadier says, I didn't know, I have no reason to, one second, I have no reason to disbelieve you. But there were letters exchanged between our Prime Minister and theirs.
You see that?
There were letters exchanged.
There was one British Army military officer, as per this report, who came in February 84 to Golden Temple and then having given some kind of a
plan. Sir, on 15-16 December 1983, the Indian intelligence coordinators has meetings with the British intelligence in London.
In that meeting, he did not seek any advice.
On 30th January 1984, a request is received by the Indian intelligence for UK operational advice to assist with the ongoing situation.
He did not seek any advice at that time.
To assist with the ongoing situation at the temple complex.
Absolutely.
The British were in the loop and their advice was being sought. Right? This was all going on much before, sir. You may not know.
Arnab, it may have been for some other operation. It has nothing to do with the Bluestar operation in June of June 84.
It's not about the army.
What was going on between the two governments,
it is not
I'm not aware of.
Sir, Hartosh.
Arnab, if I may say this to Brigadier Israr Khan, that I have full sympathy with his views. What I'm asking him is this. If the army had been brought in mid-February and told that you have to plan an operation over the next 3 months, would the same operation have been conducted?
Army was not brought in February.
No, I'm asking you the question, Brigadier. If it had been brought in, would the operation have unfolded in the same way?
You would have more time to prepare. He's asking you the question.
Yes.
If you're
I'll give you a truthful answer. We got barely 5 days to plan exactly and move to Amritsar.
That's the point.
But if you had
therefore, Indian Army Chief downwards, nobody had any idea of any operation.
Why is this debate therefore with the army? It's got the political dispensation which has to take the entire responsibility and give the disclosure. It's not for the army to sit here and talk about it. The disclosure, a complete one at that, has to come from the government and quickly, much before this whole debate initiates and
I think genuinely here that while the brigadier is defending his actions, the brigadier as a loyal officer of the Indian Army does what he is told to do.
Absolutely.
And I think it is shameful,
that
brigadier.
He's got to be
I think it is shameful that you're getting it in the neck today, whereas the fact of the matter is you were given...
It is in the interest of the present-day Indian Army to reveal the facts.
Not the army, the political dispensation. The army is not answerable, the government is answerable.
Yes.
The government should be here and the government
and it's a sad state of affair that today the army is left high and dry to defend itself, whereas it was a political call taken and it is a political call which has to be explained today.
And I dare say here today that our Prime Minister, who excels in the questionable art of silence, should break his silence on this one.
And I'm very
Dr.
worried.
Manmohan saying, I am saying this to you, you should reconsider your silence on this subject. You are the Prime Minister of India.
Arnab,
you need to tell the people of this country whether a previous Prime Minister did what she is being accused of having done.
One little political point here. Unfortunate that for the fallout of what happened in the Operation Bluestar, the riots which followed, the apology came from the current Prime Minister who was nowhere in the political scene that time. And today, he is made to remain silent for a decision.
What do you mean made to remain silent?
I don't know. I guess they are just staying away from explaining. They should come out with a complete disclosure of the decision which was taken by the political dispensation in '84. So, now the Prime Minister remaining silent on this matter, or apology given for the riots which happened in Delhi by the current Prime Minister who was not even present then, just doesn't give me confidence that the current Congress dispensation wants to speak about this issue. On the contrary, they should give a complete, exhaustive narrative.
We have 6-7 minutes on this debate, right? Hartosh, you wanted to come in earlier. You know, I'm sorry, when we were on an earlier point, yes, you can make your point, Hartosh, then I'll come back.
Yeah. Arnab, I'm precisely saying the point that it is not for Brigadier Israr Khan to answer these questions. The point is the political establishment of the day had enough time. The top intelligence network in the country, RAW, was involved. There was enough time to collect intelligence. Given this background, for the army to be brought in 5 days before the operation with no intelligence provided, this is exactly the explanation that the rest of us are demanding. What was the political administration? What was the intelligence setup of this country doing? That is the explanation we need.
Now my question is, now I'll go back to the critical question. And Mr. Grewal, my question and the question of a lot of people today is directed at you. Sir, on the 27th of December 2013, touted as a Gurudwara by this SGPC and the Shiromani Akali Dal, the Operation Bluestar Memorial which was unveiled was dedicated by name to Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale and others who were killed during Operation Bluestar. Okay? And it said, the inscription in Punjabi, which was at the gate of this Gurdwara Yadgar Shahidan, as the structure was named, reads, and I quote, Memorial in memory of the 14th head of the Damdami Taksal, Martyr Saint Gyani Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa Bhindranwale and all martyrs of 1984. Sir, you want to reap political dividends from these revelations. It's quite clear to me. Will you tell me whether you believe that Bhindranwale's actions were acts of terrorism? Was Bhindranwale a terrorist or not in your view?
Arnab, you asked me a very straight question. My answer will be very straight, but you have to give me 2 minutes. Before Operation Bluestar, before killing of Mr. Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, the Punjab was under president rule and there was a Congress government at the center.
That is not the
Sir, please answer my question. Answer my question. Is he answering my question?
No, that is not the answer to Arnab's question. Please say without any reservations what was the status of Bhindranwale in the eyes of the of the Sikh politicians like you.
I am answering your question. Just have a patience. I will be answering a very straight answer.
No.
I would like to know through
this
your
is not the occasion to describe what happened
no.
8 months
just
before the operation.
History. Don't give me history. Answer my question.
Just give me 1 minute. You will get answer, and very plain and clear answer. No case before his death was ever registered against son Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, saying that he was involved in
but what are you saying?
What
was he doing inside the temple?
No.
And there were mass killings going on his orders, and he was wanting to create a Sikh state within the Indian Union. What is it all about? How do you describe that?
Arnab, just listen me. There was only one case. That was killing of son Nirankari Mandal.
This is not a legal debate.
No.
The whole of the country knows what Bhindranwale was made of, and his ultimate aim was, in connivance with Pakistan, to form a Sikh state within the Indian Union. That is the truth of the matter. And you are shying out of that.
Yes. No. I am not dying out. Just give me 1 second. I draw your attention.
But 1 second is all history. We don't want to hear that. You have been asked a specific question. Please give a specific answer. You have been asked whether Bhindranwale was a terrorist or not.
I am giving straight answer. Just listen me with patience. 27th of May 1984.
Again you are going into dates and history. I would like to ask that 4 officers, 4 JCOs, 83 other ranks who laid down their lives within the precincts of the Golden Temple.
Exactly.
Were they martyrs or were they terrorists?
Arnab, just listen me.
Answer that for me, please.
Yes,
Indian Army.
I will give you answer.
Okay. Now, 1 second. 1 minute.
I would like to know.
1 minute. I repeat my question. I repeat my question. 1 second. And I'll tell you one thing. 1 second, Mr. Grewal.
Just listen me. On 27th of May 1984, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, the General Secretary of the Congress, on way from Delhi to Shimla, had a halt at Chandigarh Airport. And it is reported in 28th May 1984 in the Tribune. The journalist asked him, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, what do you think about son Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, who is sitting in the Golden Temple? The reply of General Secretary of Congress, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, who became later the Prime Minister of
India. Zero relevance.
There is no relevance to the question.
No, 1 minute. I can see today, Mr. Grewal. Mr. Grewal, 1 minute. Mr. Grewal, I can see today that you have no answer. I can see today that you have no answer.
Exactly.
1 minute. Am I asking Rajiv Gandhi or am I asking Mr. Grewal? Don't tell me what Rajiv Gandhi said. I want to know what Maheshinder Singh Grewal feels about Bhindranwale, and I'm asking you, and I will give you 1 full minute to reply. 1 minute to reply. My question is,
I am saying
there is today a memorial which has been unveiled. Unveiled for Bhindranwale. Do you believe Bhindranwale was a terrorist or not?
Memorial is in the memory of 3,000 devotees who were killed on the day of Gurpurav of the martyrdom.
It doesn't say so. It talks of Bhindranwale, the martyr.
The only person mentioned by name is Bhindranwale.
It is in the memory of 3,000 innocent Sikhs, women and other pilgrims.
Side by side, would you like to construct a memorial for the 83 Jawans and 4 officers and 4 JCOs?
The army was meant to kill its own citizen? Answer is no. I think you are...
The duly constituted government had tasked the army to do an operation, which they did to the best of their capability.
Yes.
What are you talking? Again you are casting aspersions on the army.
Hartosh?
Army has killed 3,000
What Indian army meant to do this and that?
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
The government had given them that task, which they carried it out.
5 minutes.
Any army of the world
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
do it.
5 minutes left. 4 minutes. No, 4 minutes. 4 minutes left. Hartosh, why is Mr. Grewal not being able to answer that question? Why is Mr. Grewal not being able to answer a simple question such as that?
I am answering it
Why?
straight.
Maheshinder Grewal is an old
You are not answering it. I have wasted 10 minutes waiting for your answer.
Brigadier must answer to the country.
The simple
why
fact
army
is
has
that
chosen the day of Gurpurab of martyrdom of Guru Arjan Singh Ji.
You can't call Bhindranwale a terrorist.
No.
You don't have the courage and the guts to call Bhindranwale a terrorist. Mr. Grewal, you are sworn by the Indian Constitution today. And by the Indian Constitution, someone who tries to break the state, takes the help of Pakistan, is nothing but a terrorist, a terrorist, a terrorist. You cannot call him a terrorist. Hartosh Singh Bal, your response to Mr. Grewal on this one. Let's be clear. We'll question what Indira Gandhi did or didn't do. But we'll also question you. Hartosh. Hartosh.
Hartosh,
please. Hartosh.
No Akali will ever admit in public what he knows in private. The journalist in Bhindranwale was a terrorist. They are afraid of being undermined from the radical right.
They should make it public.
Among the
1 second, Mr. Grewal. Mr. Grewal. Mr. Grewal, let someone else speak. Okay, Hartosh,
it is a defining mark of Akali politics.
That bad name and kill it. They
are always afraid of the minority on the radical right of the Sikh
extreme.
extreme.
The Brigadier Saab and Mr. C Singh. Why they were silent?
They will never speak the truth about Bhindranwale, who ran a reign of terror from the Golden Temple, who was a terrorist.
What is the fault of 3,000 innocent pilgrims that they went to pay respect to the Guru and on the martyrdom day?
Let Hartosh in. Sir, let Hartosh in. Mr. Grewal, please. I have asked you, Mr. Grewal. Mr. Grewal, please. I have asked you one question. Now, Mr. Grewal, please. Mr. Grewal, please. I don't want to scream louder than this. I have asked you one question 20 times.
Master Arnab,
you have given me no answer tonight. And I therefore request you to please hear the other side. I'm requesting you to let Hartosh speak. Hartosh should be allowed to speak.
My answer is very, Arnab, my answer is very clear.
There is no doubt on this issue.
No. 1 second. Come on. 1 second.
Maheshinder ji. You can listen to somebody else for a change.
Shows any connivance between Bhindranwale and Pakistan.
Can I get this volume down?
That he was a culprit in 100 of cases. And you.
Okay. Now Hartosh.
Arnab, the simple fact is Bhindranwale ran a reign of terror from the Golden Temple. He was a terrorist.
Exactly.
Yes.
And exactly. The precise point is that no Akali will admit in public what he knows in private. They always play this dual game of encouraging the entire extreme segment, raise this bogey in Delhi, all the while where their good friends of the BJP keep supporting them, while making noises about national sovereignty and letting the Akalis do such things without raising questions. It's not just the Congress, the BJP is also complicit in this game. That the Akalis play continuously.
Exactly. Why is the BJP not asking the question? Why is the BJP not asking the question? Nirmala Sitharaman, do not maintain a diplomatic silence on this subject today. I want you to tell me whether your partner and ally represented on the program should say that Bhindranwale was a terrorist. Should they say that Bhindranwale was a terrorist?
What the partner will want to say, he would say. But
why?
We have very clearly...
What kind of a duality is that?
It's amazing, Brigadier, that I have come in support of the army because the BJP stands up to keep the integrity of the army up and right.
You just heard what he said. You have not said one word against.
1 minute. Miss Nirmala Sitharaman.
Brigadier, don't you please come on to a party which is also asking the political dispensation of 84 and also today to come out with a complete disclosure. So you seem to be wanting to antagonize everybody just because they are asking the government for a defense.
The truth is not
antagonizing. The truth that I want to say here
isn't it highly dangerous?
Bhindranwale was a terrorist in your view.
Mr. Can I please? Yes, I am the anchor of the program. So my question to Ms. Sitharaman is, Ms. Sitharaman, isn't it extremely dangerous very dangerous that you are letting your ally get away without admitting that Bhindranwale was a terrorist. Your party stands for... 1 minute. You say you have a tough internal security doctrine. You say we will fight Pakistan. We will not allow Pakistan-sponsored terrorists.
Absolutely.
You know Bhindranwale's association with Pakistan. You know the help he was getting from Pakistan. You know he was trying to break the Indian state. Your ally is refusing to recognize he was a terrorist and you're silent.
We are not silent.
You are silent. You are saying they can be allowed to say what...
Can anybody remain silent unless you want them to be silent in this program? I'm sorry. Don't you now turn your attention on me because you can't get the Congress to come and give a disclosure to you.
I will ask the Congress a question. What about you?
Please tell him to say the truth. I will request you to tell him to say the truth.
You may request anybody, but you can't request the Congress to come and give a disclosure here. And on that failure, you don't need to tell me.
No, I fully support you.
I know the Congress party indirectly because it wanted to contain the...
What about the Akali Dal?
1 minute. What about the Akali Dal? I know you want to today find me trying to give an answer.
Yes,
I am raising this question.
Do you think the Akali Dal is anti-national when it refuses to admit that Bhindranwale was a terrorist?
I am raising the question whilst wanting to control the mild Akalis. Wasn't it Mrs. Gandhi who propagated the Bhindranwale episode? Wasn't she who gave the...
I don't think you're answering me tonight. I don't think you're answering me tonight. I place it on record.
Why should I answer? It is the Congress party which has to answer.
Because they are your allies. Because they are your allies.
Who brought in Operation Bluestar? Today the point of discussion is Operation Bluestar. And on terrorism, the BJP has never compromised.
Casey, last word. Casey, last word.
Not the ones to answer this.
Casey will have the last word on this tonight. Casey, where's this going?
After that, I'll have 1 minute.
No, Casey, please. Casey, and we're closing.
Mr. Casey Singh.
Casey, please.
Arnab, the tragedy is it was a traumatic experience for every Sikh. But I don't think parties like the Akali Dal, their allies, the Congress, anybody has learnt a lesson. Therefore, it is time to come out with a comprehensive white paper. There are no clean hands in this.
Gentlemen,
there are no clean hands in this.
There are no clean hands.
I think the nation needs to learn so that we don't repeat mistakes.
Yeah, but we want disclosure, and disclosure once again on what happened leading to Operation Bluestar. Thank you for watching the News Hour tonight. I'll see you tomorrow 9 p.m. Till then, good night and goodbye.